Hey, if you found this video, you are curious how to do some editing of your views in 3D. So let me show you a couple of tricks. First thing you'll see in my plan, I have currently 4 different views in 3D. I have my standard 3D. I've changed my 3D view to be just the first floor. I have a 3D view where all you can see is the whole entire house and every single roof in the house is hiding. And I have a 3D view just focusing in on the garage of the house. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do something similar to what we have in the garage half, but I'm going to do a 3D version of the house, but the house is going to have no roof. So it'll be just the house with the roof. So how do we get started? First thing, I want you to go to your 3D view. And on the project browser, come over to that original 3D view, right click if you're on a mouse or 2-finger click on a trackpad, and you're going to duplicate the view. I prefer to duplicate without just the regular one, no with detailing. In a new tab, it's going to open up that exact same thing. And now let's add some modifications. First thing I want to do is I want to hide all my roofs. It's pretty easy to hide a roof, but there's 2 different ways to accomplish the task. This house is pretty complicated and has multiple roofs, so I'm going to show you the 2 variations, and it's shown well with this style house. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select a roof that I want to hide. So let's say I want to hide that part that's blue. Remember to select a thing, you want to go to the edge of it, not to the middle. If you go to the edge, it will turn blue, and that's what you're going to select. So with a roof selected, and I can do this with any item, but I'm going to just do roofs. With the roof selected, again on my mouse, I'm going to right click or 2-finger click on a trackpad, and I'm going to go to hide in view, and I'm just going to hide this element. You can see that if I hide only that element, then just that one roof is going to disappear. That's going to work if you have a pretty simple plan, but I want to bring that roof back. So how do I bring it back? I can actually go down to this teeny tiny bar down at the bottom, and I'm going to click on Reveal Hidden Elements. It looks like a little light bulb. And now my roof that I hid is going to show up, so I can select it, I can right click on it, and I can unhide view. And I can unhide it, and then I can click on my light bulb again, and the roof is back. Now let's hide every single roof in this entire plan. So again, I'm going to click on a roof, and this time I'm going to right click, and I'm going to go to hide in view, but this time instead of choosing elements, I'm going to hide the category. Let's see what happens there. Now, because I hid in category, it hid every single roof in the entire plan. First floor, second floor over here on the garage. Now you might be wondering, what on earth is this? This is a ceiling that I have added into the plan. I'm going to do the same thing because I want to see the floor plan. I am going to right click with that selected blue. I'm going to go to hide in view and category. Okay, so now I can see the inside of the floor plan for this house. Now, how did I get my garage to look like this, where I'm only focused on the garage? Or how did I get my first floor where I'm only focused on my first floor? You may notice a similarity about this 3D view and this 3D view that I do not have in my copy. And that is that weird black box around the outside. And this is the critical point to be able to just zoom in on one particular section in a 3D view. So once I'm on that 3D view, I'm going to come over here to my properties panel, and I am going to scroll down just a little bit in the extents section. I'm going to find the section box. So I'll click on that section box, and I'm going to scroll to zoom out. And now that I have scrolled to zoom out, you can see this big, giant, black box. And I can actually take this box and selecting it, I can take the little arrows like we've seen in so many other things, and I can move these arrows around. And that will actually allow me to customize the parts that I can see and what I can't see on this particular plan in 3-dimensional view. So I'm just taking all of the arrows around the outside and I'm bringing them in as tight as I possibly can. I'm not 100% sure I like what it looks like on this side, so I'm going to go over to my orientation cube. And on my orientation cube, I can see that I can kind of see the floor of the garage coming out, but that's still kind of in my way. I only want to see the edge of the house. And then these two spaces coming out, because those are still, there's going to be some first floor information here. So this is what I want it to look like. So now I can just click on the outside, and it has now saved that smaller 3D version of my floor plan. And I can click back on the house to go to the home view, and I can scroll in. I can reset this as my home view if I'd like for this particular 3D version. So to do that, I can come up, I can get it set up exactly how I want it in my screen, come up here to the little house. Oops, I hit the wrong button, darn. Let's try that again. All right, zoom in. And now I can come up to my orientation cube. Instead of clicking on the house, I click on the little drop down, and I am going to go down to the bottom here, and I'm gonna, or not to the bottom, halfway down, and I'm gonna set current view as home. This will reset my home, so if I rearrange or I zoom in and then I go back to my house, I'm not zoomed out super far, just a nice distance where everything's fit in. Next thing I want to do is I'm probably going to reset the name of this one. I don't want it to be called 3D Copy. I like to explain what it is. To do that, I'm going to come back over to my project browser. I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to rename it, and I am going to rename this 3D Main House No Roof. I like to be as detailed as possible so I know what I'm looking at when I have it up on my top and on my project browser. Now, if you happen to accidentally not be able to find your project browser, I will tag in another video on how to get your project browser back up if you accidentally close that, or if you accidentally closed out your properties, because that's a really common mistake that lots of people do when they're just getting started in Revit.